Welcome to the Miscarriage Rebellion. I'm Sam Payne, the CEO and co-founder of the Pink Elephants Support Network.
And I'm Stacey June Lewis, counsellor, psychotherapist and broadcaster. This podcast is where we share stories of many Australians who have lost their babies to early pregnancy loss.
With evidence and empathy, we unpack the shame, blame and stigma and the lack of support that many face and the need for better understanding and care. This is a loss that has been silenced for too long. We deserve better.
We are here to normalise the conversation.
We're here to make lasting change.
I think if they acknowledge that this is going to have a significant impact on somebody, that will set that foundation up to help heal you.
And it's hard because people go, at least it happened early. And you go, you don't know where my head was for 3 weeks.
Pregnancy loss was something that was never talked about when I was growing up, and it wasn't until I mentioned that I had miscarried that I suddenly heard all of these stories.
So after I spoke to her, I felt like this giant weight had been released off my shoulders and that I could really breathe again, and that I hadn't been breathing for months. Like I'd been holding my breath for such a long time. And it really helped me to see just how important it was to talk about what I was going through.
Someone said, go for a walk, you'll feel better. And I went for a walk and there was a mother's group with 5 mothers and they all had little girls. And I was like, go for a walk, they said, you'll feel better. No, I didn't want to leave the house.
I would go to work, do my job and cry on the way home in the car because I was by myself.
I counted my life in cycle days, minutes, pregnancy tests, scan weeks of pregnancy. I think in 1 year I was pregnant for 42 weeks with no baby shown for it at the end. And my world became teeny tiny.
Also, I think there's this perception, how far along were you? Oh, you were only 6 weeks. And we all feel so uncomfortable by grief and by loss that those comments of at least, they're used not to make the person feel better, they're to make the person who's saying that statement feel better because they're uncomfortable in the situation and they want to make themselves feel better that you will be fine.
I remember having to leave the hospital with my husband and then walking through the maternity ward out of the hospital because it's a very popular hospital for delivery. And there's just pregnant women coming in to have their babies and I'm walking out and I've just lost my baby.
But with a baby, because you've had them in your belly, and you haven't seen them or felt them, you're grieving your imagined time with them. And in some ways that's sort of harder because you don't have photographs, you don't have memories and you don't have things to fall back on.
At the end of the day, we need more funding and resourcing. We need to equip healthcare workers in the best way possible. And we know, again, that they are so overburdened at the moment. So that's really on the government to fix.